Dr. Gay. And their plans.
Professor Gay.
Professor Gay.
Yeah, and President Gay.
Dr. Dre's had an upgrade.
Okay, basically, Claudine Gay was the president of Harvard, and she resigned. But when you introduce woke people, you have to put titles in front of it, so it's not just that she
Right
was
Honorable President Gay. Or
exactly,
Gaydom.
yeah. So it's not just Harvard President Gay; it's the first black woman president of Harvard, the second woman president of Harvard.
They are actually honorifics, aren't they? You're
yes,
right.
exactly. Yeah.
She's also the first diversity hire head of Harvard as well. So I read that somewhere.
Are you sure, Josh? Are you sure?
I'm sure it is based on merit.
Well, let's see. So Harvard President Claudine Gay resigns over plagiarism claims and disastrous anti-Semitism testimony in bitter letter where she says she has been victim of racism, but
This
fails
was the
to
lady
apologize.
who was arguing that it's perfectly legitimate to discuss whether or not we should kill the Jews.
That's her position, yes.
It depends on the context.
It wouldn't violate Harvard's code of conduct, was her statement. And
So
she's a victim of racism.
I think she would add, it depends on the context.
If you're in the Reichstag, less so.
Stankular.
No, she actually said this. She always said it depends on the context. No, I'm not joking.
Yeah.
I'll show you. Okay.
I don't think she had comedy in mind, though, did she? Necessarily.
No. So it says, Gay, 53, lasted just 6 months in the role. The shortest tenure of any president in the school's history. So that's another, not exactly honorific. It's like the shortest serving president of Harvard.
I haven't actually kept up with this story. Who was she plagiarizing out of interest?
All sorts of people.
It wasn't, the mustache man, right? No, it wasn't.
No.
Okay.
No.
Didn't know if that's where it was going.
She has released a book called My Struggle. I don't know.
My Struggle is the first black woman.
She hasn't actually.
I have a document by Chris Rufo and Chris Brunette who are writing about this. So for anyone who wants to, I'll just show it. I won't talk about it. For anyone who wants to see a bit more about the allegations. Okay, so it says Gay 53 lasted just 6 months in the role, the shortest tenure of any president in the school's history. Her resignations comes 28 days later after a shocking congressional testimony about campus anti-Semitism, where she refused to categorize calls for Jewish genocide as harassment or concede that Jewish students had a right not to feel safe at Ivy League schools. You remember this
Of course.
incident?
I know it very well. I found the chant quite funny that was something along the lines of "get the gay out of our education" or something. I can't remember the exact wording of it, but it was a play on words that just sounded...
Hey,
Yeah.
ho, ho, those homos have got to go.
I don't think that was it.
It says also in her resignation, Gay wrote that she was standing down after consultation with the school's board, which has been under pressure to replace her after defending her remarks. Now, what kind of pressure do you think that was?
Headlock.
Well, monetary.
Okay.
Let me show you.
Sorry to interrupt the video, but I thought I'd announce that we have a new line of merch. This is our aesthetics collection. So I was thinking that in the face of AI art debasing the very concept of art, actually we'd do something quite positive. So we commissioned a series of paintings that were actually really beautiful and could be something that we could present outside of politics. So for example, we have this magnificent painting of a ship weathering a storm, which I thought was just really nice. And we have, of course, a glorious, sort of surrealist, giant white tiger drinking from a lake. But also there are other things that are just kind of interesting, such as the chap lost in cyberspace, or something that I thought might, in time for Christmas, make a great present for your mum or something like that. A beautiful cat lounging on some clouds. Basically, we wanted to do some stuff that wasn't just political. So things that were just nice and beautiful and interesting, because that's also a part of the world we want to curate. So you can go over to shop.lotuses.com. Buying the merch is a really great way of supporting us and means that we can live past demonetization. And I'm sure they make great gifts for the folks as well.
So I'll show you that basically a lot of billionaire donors withdrew their funds, the funding. And that was basically the main reason why she resigned.
Do you want me to move on?
No, it's okay. It's okay. Now, one thing, because a lot of you may think that she resigned and she left completely. That's not technically true.
She's still working as the janitor?
She's still working there as a professor.
Okay.
She operates the showers.
And then there's the question of salary. And I'll tell you that right now there's a lot of discussion and a lot of claims on Twitter about salary. Can you guess about the salary she was
It's
getting?
be dollars, isn't it?
$1,488 per month, or not?
Callum.
I think it's a bit more.
No, she's probably on something like $200,000 a year, maybe, if not more.
Josh, this is really bad.
Was it more?
So what I'll just show you here is from Harvard Magazine, from University News from the 12th of December of 2023. That's just from Harvard, and it's from 2 years ago. So what it says here,
2 years ago.
yeah, where she
Last month was 2 years ago.
she wasn't.
$1
No, it's about the
million.
fiscal. It's about the fiscal years. When she was not the president. I'll just give you a number, okay? When that was on the calendar year 2021. Obviously, it's a bit different, but they're just going to give you the numbers there. The most highly compensated officials are the expected ones among Harvard leaders. The president at that point got $1,048,985.
I'm very disappointed you didn't do $1 million.
Dr. Evil one, yeah. Plus other compensation of 280,000, let's say 280,000 dollars.
So
Yeah.
1.28 mil.
That was basically the salary of the president before she got this.
She was making bank.
And she was there as, where is she? Let's see. Faculty of Arts. At that point, she had the very humble salary of $646,049 as a Faculty of Arts and Sciences Dean.
This is what I never get about reading these kind of salaries. Why the $49? I know it's a bit of a tangent, but like seriously, she's not happy with 646,000. She was like,
It's about
gotta be-
inflation.
It's probably going to be. It's a tax thing, isn't it? Surely.
is that how they calculate or something?
So after tax, you're going to be left with a round number.
Okay, all right.
That's
that
my
makes-
guess.
Okay.
Let us know.
Anyway, just to show you that it's not that she has completely been economically destroyed or something. She just
So she went from 650 grand to 1.2 million, and is now back to 650 grand.
let me just be very clear. The 1.2 million is about the previous president.
So she would've been
I'm
roughly-
seeing lots of figures, but because it's just Twitter accounts without any substantial backing before, I'm just giving you this from Harvard. Okay. They are saying somewhere like close to 1 million. Now it's close to 900,000. That's what they're saying, but I have to give you a number that is not
being a
just
black-
hearsay.
Being a black woman is the best thing that can happen to you.
So what happened here? Billionaire donors withdrew funding, and Harvard board repeatedly supported her despite several plagiarism claims and anti-Semitism scandal. Now, do you think that it's racist that she lost the presidency? She does.
Of course she does.
And a lot of other people do. Let's see here. Derek Johnson just got slapped with a community note for calling out Harvard President Claudine Gay for plagiarism is nothing more than political theatrics advancing a white supremacist agenda. Can we click on see here what he says? Derek Johnson, enough is enough. I have had it with his, no, sorry.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, okay, enough is enough. Harvard President Claudine Gay is a distinguished scholar and professor with decades of service.
Austere scholar who only engaged in moderate terrorism.
In higher education. The recent attacks on her, nothing more than advancing a white supremacist agenda. White supremacists everywhere. Everything is portrayed as white supremacist. You cannot criticize someone without being called a white supremacist.
If it was white supremacy, why would the white supremacists wait until she started criticizing the Jews or what have you indirectly to take action? Why wouldn't they have just been like, hey, this is white supremacy, so we're not even going to let you be president? It's like, no, not. Everyone knows white supremacists love Jewish people.
You know the worst thing about Rhodesia is that if you were a black woman, you just take over. and get paid $1 million.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's play
Yeah,
the video
yeah.
to remember the December 5 testimony of hers.
And Dr. Gay, at Harvard, does calling for the genocide of Jews violate Harvard's rules of bullying and harassment? Yes or no?
It can be, depending on the context.
What's the context?
Targeted as an individual, targeted at an individual.
It's targeted at Jewish students, Jewish individuals. Do you understand your testimony is dehumanizing them? Do you understand that dehumanization is part of anti-Semitism? I will ask you one more time. Does calling for the genocide of Jews violate Harvard's rules of bullying and harassment? Yes or no?
Anti-Semitic rhetoric.
And is it anti-Semitic rhetoric?
Anti-Semitic rhetoric, when it crosses into conduct that amounts to bullying, harassment, intimidation, that is actionable conduct, and we do take action.
So the answer is yes, that calling for the genocide of Jews violates Harvard Code of Conduct, correct?
Again, it depends on the context.
It does not depend on the context. The answer is yes, and this is why you should resign. These are unacceptable answers across the board.
So what I want to say about it depends on the context.
Plagiarism allegations,
what I want to say
where
about,
Claudine Gay has had to issue corrections, multiple corrections. Now, we should note that Claudine Gay has not been accused of stealing anyone's ideas in any of her writing.
Quick.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but come on. Dr. Gay.
Yeah.
Like, there has to be a God. I've come round. Like, why this cannot be true that the person sitting there being like, let's kill all the Jews from Harvard is called Dr. Gay. It's not real.
A 12-year-old
that's got to be orchestrated.
does enjoy it.
It's the wonderful world
Dr. Gay gets $1 million.
Wonderful world of crazy diversity, DI 21st century.
I would also like to come out in support of Count Dankula's comments about this, that genocide is probably a bit more than bullying.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a strange question. Like, is it bullying?
You bullied.
You see,
the counselor.
But one thing that I want to say is because, I was working for a university and she was a professor of a president of a university, and she made this testimony. It's really weird to see the double standard, and occasionally it's not funny. It's tragic and sometimes comic to see the double standard that these people are using. The woke bureaucrats. If anyone said something that disagreed with the woke agenda in the least, there would be no consideration about context.
No,
they would be instantly exiled from the university or something. But now it depends on the context. Let us look at this. Let us look at that. She wants a kind of mercy for herself and the people she claims to defend that she doesn't show to anyone she disagrees with. And anyway, I just think that this is disgraceful. Now, with respect to the accusations of plagiarism, I have an article here by Christopher Rufo and Christopher Brunette, who are talking about this. They're talking about the several places in her PhD where she is sort of using phrases from other people's work. She doesn't acknowledge them, things like that. It doesn't look good.
It shows a lack of confidence in her own ability to articulate herself, doesn't it?
Yes, but you see, when we are dealing with ideologues who cannot read the situation and they always have to see things through the prism of their ideology, and they just never look at the concrete case in front of them. Lots of people made this about racism, about conservatism, and you have people like Jonathan Chait saying this is the kind of trap Rufo specializes in exploiting. He attacks targets that maintain high ethical standards, which he himself doesn't care about at all, forcing them to choose between maintaining the standards and resisting his nakedly political agenda. Sorry, mate. As if Claudine Gay did not have a political agenda. Please.
I love it that American leftists always try and take the moral high ground, but then just immediately degenerate to attacking the right.
Isn't that a feature of leftists globally?
It is, yeah. But
it's always the worst people as well. Like, this person had high standards. This plagiarizing diversity hire. Like, this is the same thing with BLM. Where
I was about to say that.
All of your martyrs are like, guy who died from overdosing on drugs, the guy who died because he tried to shoot the police. So you have the worst people to sit there and be like, well, they had high ethical standards.
He was a good criminal.
But they didn't have
Rufo,
but they
doesn't even take drugs.
But they didn't have a negatively political agenda. They cared for justice.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Okay. Yeah, justice isn't political.
Okay.
Yeah, there's nothing political about justice.
Like many journalists, I've faced this kind of attack before, with Rufo trying to use rather small factual corrections to support his farcical narrative of a left-wing media conspiracy. Well, and his response is, yes, Jonathan Trite, I must have traveled back in time, plagiarized all of Claudine Gay's academic papers, then implanted a mind control chip in her brain so she equivocated about anti-Semitism in front of Congress. It was all part of my sinister trap.
Why did Christopher Rufo do that? I don't know. Why would he go to all those lengths?
Never go full Chait. Anyway, let's see here. I have some bits here from The Guardian. What did The Guardian write about it? What did they make it about?
What, as in you want us to guess? Yeah,
I'm going to go, she's a victim of mental health and racism. That's it.
It's a bunch of racist Republicans that are just like, hey.
The campaign against Gay's presidency was largely promoted by conservative activists.
President Gay, vote now. So it's still that's childish.
You know, imagine you have the surnames of the candidates.
Do you vote Gay or?
Yeah. Okay.
Can't say what I want.
The campaign against Gay's presidency was largely promoted by conservative activists, including those who oppose diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. They argued that Gay was hired not because of her decades of academic work and recognition, but rather because she's black. New plagiarism allegations surfaced on Monday in a conservative online journal that has led the campaign against Gay. Following the initial complaints, Gay defended her work. I stand by the integrity of my scholarship, she wrote.
But it was all faked. It was all plagiarized. So no, you didn't have any work.
Your rainbow Reich is over now, Gay.
You were literally like, I'm here because I'm the first black woman. And then when everyone points that out, you're like, no, it's because of my academic work. And then everyone looks at the work. It was all fake, plagiarized.
Yeah.
But now what? You're literally fake and gay.
And CNN is defending her. And they're trying to make the accusations sound a bit more severe than they actually are. Let's look at this wonderful clip.
These plagiarism allegations, where Claudine Gay has had to issue corrections, multiple corrections. Now, we should note that Claudine Gay has not been accused of stealing anyone's ideas in any of her writings. She's been accused of sort of more like copying other people's writings without attribution. So it's been more sloppy attribution than stealing anyone's ideas. But nonetheless, you put all of that together. These plagiarism allegations,
I mean, technically
where
he's right,
Gay
but it
has
sounds
had to
hilarious.
Damn it, this person has pros.
That's what I did for my university dissertation. I just didn't attribute people.
Yeah. But I didn't steal other people's ideas or work.
I looked at the things that were actually copied, and a lot of the time it's like the actual structure of the sentences rather than the actual ideas she's expressing. Like she changed the context of the writing. I don't know why I'm defending.
Because it depends on the context.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move forward. Anyway, someone says here, Mark Lamont Hill, the next president of Harvard University must be a black woman.
What, again?
No, but there we are. That's an omission. The only reason these people are here is because they're black and women.
Notice how he doesn't mention competence, excellence, merit, or experience. The only qualifications are ancestry and anatomy. Bizarre and regressive. You see, I think that's something that isn't discussed a lot. That when, on the one hand, you are promoting a kind of agenda that says that meritocracy is bad, or because we can't have perfect meritocracy, we need to have 0% meritocracy.
We need to have the stupidest people in charge.
Not only this happens because
I support that, to be fair,
because you end up with bureaucrats. You end up with bureaucrats who just say, "Okay, I'm going to be your poster boy or poster girl." But not only this, but the people who get the jobs, if they have a conscience, they don't like thinking that they got it just because of that. I mean, I think people who do have a conscience do want to think that the things that they have, they deserve them.
Which is why we have diversity hires that are so stupid, they don't even know if they had breakfast this morning.
I take the Labour Party position of I want sub 70 IQ people in positions of power.
God, yeah. Neurodivergent representation now.
Yeah. So I'll tell you, Joy Reid from MSNBC, she said that Claudine Gay's resignation from Harvard was part of a campaign to replace women and people of color with white men in elite universities. Reid accuses Christopher Rufo of leading this campaign and claims...
Yeah, because everyone knows universities have been a safe haven for white men.
Let's look at the presuppositions. It's like,
past 15 years.
I hate white men. You know why? Because they don't plagiarize. You know why I also hate them? They don't try to kill the Jews. That's the problem. Like,
white men are disproportionately underrepresented in universities. How about that?
Again, true. But what is there to even say? I mean, the progressive left are honestly just a punching bag at this point.
Yeah.
Like, I know how they still manage to run the United States somehow, which is weird. But it's not even worth arguing. They're just laughable. Utterly laughable.
Now, a lot of discussion goes on about the next day for Harvard. Right now, they have an interim president. He is Alan Garber. He was appointed as new interim president after he was seen nodding in approval during Claudine Gay's anti-Semitism testimony that led to her ousting. Anyway, he
was nodding along, going, "Yes, of course, yeah, they should go." That's.
I think.
I'd like to think he's going like that. He's got his eyes closed. Like she's hitting all the right notes.
No,
that's right.
He hasn't read the room. He's just got his eyes closed.
I think it was the opposite. He was nodding on the condemnation of her. Yeah.
I was going to say.
Yes. But I don't know about his agenda. I've heard that he sometimes supports DEI stuff. And this, I haven't found a lot so far, but he's going to be the interim president. But whatever happens, I don't think that Harvard will stop being a DEI department. At the moment, I saw also Chris Rufo saying things like, we're going to destroy DEI in all the universities. I hope he does. I hope DEI gets destroyed. But I wouldn't hold my breath, especially about Harvard. Mm-hmm. So it seems to me more like it's an issue of targeting one person and blaming that person with, let's say, the gap in funding and billionaires withdrawing funding. Now suddenly everything's going to go back to normal, because you could say that funding was not withdrawn until now, until these things. So it's not that Harvard became woke post December 5.
Well, there was sorry, Callum.
The people giving money to Harvard don't care about that. They care about if they're anti-Semitic.
Yeah,
that was the straw.
Yeah.
Just to kind of highlight that it's been going on for a long time. Yeah. In 2016, I think it was, there was a scholarship to Harvard, which I looked into applying for, and it turns out the actual research that I would have been doing for this scholarship would have been investigating rape culture in universities, which of course is the feminist lie that there is a culture which promotes rape, which is wrong, because most people are negative towards rapists. Well, I'm going to say that like a child, because most people don't like them.
Obviously.
Most Europeans.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Yeah. No, I want to say something about this, because especially in sociology departments, in a lot of sociology departments, there is this push towards lecturers and also people who are PhD researchers and are teaching classes and seminars to tell them that there is such a thing as rape culture in the West. And they are told to teach that when someone says something like that when someone says that they are pro sexual abuse, that the men cheer for them. This is absolute bullshit. It's the exact opposite.
I've never heard a man say, I'm in favor of that.
No, but this is what these people are teaching universities.
But if you run for president of the Republic of Congo, I don't know.
It's a vote winner.
But they never go over there and do the research.
It's a different context.
Yeah.
It's a different context, different culture. You can't
actually real problems instead of fake ones.
Yeah. So, and I want to say that Alan Garber is going to be the interim president. I don't know if he is going to end up a president, but there are some candidates. Let us see here if we can click on it. It says breaking news. Harvard Corporation appoints special presidential committee to select more problematic candidates to replace former President Claudine Gay. We have Sauron
Patrice Cullors, Elizabeth Warren,
Satan, Ibram X. Kendi,
Taylor Swift.
I like
Taylor
how they
Swift
refer to Sean King as that Kang.
I like the guest.
Someone called Papa's.
Hamas guy is just like, I'm guest. I'm joined as guest.
I can't see that. Where is it?
We have there.
Oh yeah, I see it.
She Queen underneath.
Why's Michelle Obama called Mike?
I have no idea.
Must be a mistype, right? Right?
Yeah. Representative Rosa DeLauro. I think she's wearing lots of colors there.
I don't understand why Ron DeSantis is in amongst all of these. What's his?
I don't know, but I think maybe I think it's a Nemo.
You got the penguin to the left of him as well.
Yeah, there we are.
There we are. Okay, let's.
All right. Well, let's.
And you have President Joe Biden there. Do you see?
Oh yeah.
On the third line
view of his ceiling. Yeah. That was obviously deliberate, wasn't it?
If you appreciated that episode from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content that's on the site, such as the Brokenomics series, this episode on 2023 in review. If you'd like to find out what else is being put out, you can follow on Twitter at lotuseaters_com on Twitter. Thank you and goodbye.